Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. A dear viewer of Salam TV, this is your show Alhidaayah that comes every Thursday 3 to 4 o'clock. My name is Muhammad Sekalala. Today is the 19th day of September 2024 and corresponding to the 16th of Rabi'ul Awwal 1446. Dear viewer, we are looking at the social system of Islam in this show, and largely we are trying to help the young generation out there to perhaps better prepare than the elders could have done, than those that already in the marriage could have done on the journey or the path of marriage. So we hope that through the series we are running currently, those that have been following us from the start, you are gaining something and should help you in your journey towards getting a marriage partner. Remember that if you fail to get some episodes or some parts of this show, you can always visit the Salam TV YouTube channel, type Alhidaayah, and then we'll be getting those topics. But we started on a note of how do you prepare for marriage, what are the considerations you should take, those guided by Islam, and then the conventional or the contemporary world we are living in. What green lights or red flags should you look out for before engaging into this? So for all the period we've covered, we have looked at, we have had the courtship, we've gone to the parents, they have blessed us to prepare for the marriage, and now we are saying, before you finally tie that nikah, there are things you should pay attention to. So one of which we have been looking at of late is the issue of managing a poor work and family time balance. If you do not go into, if you go into the marriage without having a clear plan of how we shall manage our families vis-a-vis the work that we are doing, it is one of the problems that usually cause people to divorce or have the marriages annulled or closed for that matter. So to help us understand and continue appreciating the aspect of how do we manage the family work time balance aspect, we are joined by Hajat Kacha Mazaitun, who has been a regular here, to share with us today on how do we manage now the causes. Before you go into this marriage, you should perhaps know why some people opt to work for longer hours than the normal, or some want to leave the homes as ladies, yet perhaps the circumstances wouldn't allow it. But we shall be looking at those causes that perhaps drive or pull people to have a poor family and home or work time, family and work time balance. Hajat, most welcome to say salam to the viewers, and then we start up the show.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, Hajat, last week we started on the topic of family and work. Family and work. How do you balance the two competing commitments? Because family is a commitment and then the work is also a commitment. So largely last time we were on the ladies' part, and the comments that I've seen on YouTube so far is there's no problem with a lady working as long as she can balance herself. And that's what we are trying to give here. But today our topic is causes. I want to appreciate the causes. There are those what we call the pull factors, and then the push. Push factors are those that are beyond your control, that really force you to move out of your comfort zone and say, hey, much as I want to stay home, much as I want to work for 5 hours and be with my family, but these factors are pushing me. I can't. Then there are those that we call the pull factors, where you have some level of stability, have a basic means of survival, but still you feel like I should, no matter the conditions, I will still go out there. So should we start with the push factors, because normally those are the ones that we should really pay attention to, the ones that force this lady to work outside the home, to work extra hours. Yes, she should have time for her family. You're also talking about this man, idea he should work maybe for 8 hours according to the standards, but you find he's working 15 hours or 12 hours a day. And in the process, his family is having little time with him, or little time with her, because of those push factors. Thank you very much. You can start us off.
All right.
Aspect, yes.
Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillahi.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
We are here back again, trying to help each other as we are making better our social institutions that are very key. And we want to highlight that marriage and family are probably a foundation for the Ummah. Without its stability, we really cannot expect sanity in the community, and that is why we are fighting, and we are giving all we can to put a brick, the Bagandas say. So one thing is for sure, the choices we make along the way in our lives, they all have repercussions. So we want to highlight that when you choose to go to work, there are things that you are going to lose, no matter whether it is a push or pull factor. The time that you're not at home, it shall cost you something. The time that you are at home, you definitely shall be able to plant the seeds that you really want to. And for when it comes to parenting, because one of the things that makes this a conversation or a discussion to be taken care of, it is the parenting, the nurturing of the children. Yes. Because maybe the plants, we can water them and leave and come back. But for the children, the little ones, then as they are growing, the teenagers and all that, they really need attention. And we cannot really compensate that. We cannot say that I was working and my child got spoiled, and then the world will say it is okay because you were working. So we just want to be real, to be in the real life, that work has become inevitable for both of us, but we have to find a way of compensating. And the other thing that we concluded with last week was probably balance is not there. Having the two work and family time balancing 50-50. So we continue to be on a journey of trying to see that we compensate, so that we patch up, so that we look at the spaces that are growing, so that we kind of take care of the gaps that have come because of the time that has been either misappropriated or missed. So this is when we come in and we say that we need to look at what we call quality time. Yes, so that maybe those few moments that you are able to be around at home, you make sure that you use them thoroughly and very well, so that you don't have to regret at the end of the time. But otherwise, the time that you're not at home is going to affect us.
Okay. So
and
having started on that note,
yes,
of the fact that parenting is a full-time job, and that no matter the reasons we shall give, our primary obligation is nurturing the next generation.
True.
And you've told us we should be real in the circumstances. And some of the circumstances that will dictate that we live a realistic life is such that there are factors that honestly are going to push me to work beyond, and even have either 2 or 3 hours for my family in a week.
It could even be less, because we have come to a time where people go to get stock.
Yes.
Someone goes to China and spends there
a month.
No, it's no longer a month. It's shorter. It is shorter now. It is shorter now because technology has eased some of these things. Okay. But it could be a week or maybe 2 weeks. And so you see that time is really becoming less and less. So we just have to be very, very clear on what our priorities are.
So you want to say the first is lack of priority as a cause?
I don't know if it is lack of priorities, but we need to look at what our priorities are as a couple, as parents, and the stage at which we are parenting. Because when your priority is raising your children, I don't know which push factor is going to push you. because
sometimes I need the money to look after the kid well.
You need money.
Yes. If the kid falls sick,
we have
to have a balance that in the home.
You have noted.
Yes.
Have you noted that there are people who, because they have a priority, for example, of breastfeeding, they choose to move with their children. These are they are sorry things that you look at on the streets, and you see a mother who has chosen to move with her child to work. She early in the morning, she puts the child on the back or in the boot, and she takes the child to work because they cannot afford not to breastfeed them. So the priorities are going to really, really dictate where to put the time and where not to put the time. So sometimes, like we mentioned, there are points where work will have to be postponed for some people. And then when the push factor is like, I must work, because I don't want to imagine that working is like I must go away from my home. I want to encourage the Ummah to consider domestic businesses, work that can be done from home, or work that can be divided, where part of it can be done from home, and then maybe you just have to present,
There are some types of work that you like it or not, you have to leave. I'm a professional accountant, professional engineer, professional land surveyor, quantity surveyor. I studied 3 years at the university. I'm now a married lady, a married man.
No, we've seen all these things because I have a sister who works in one of the big civil offices, but when she gave birth, she requested to work online. That is why my point here is the priorities, your personal firsts and lasts, because these are things that we have to sacrifice for, we have to make major decision on, because if we don't, we are the ones who are going to pay. Okay, so we have, just like today, if we are talking of the today worker, there are things that can be done online. There are things that can be done half day. There are jobs that you will not take. Whether it is a push factor or not, there are jobs that you will not take. We don't want to mention which job. But basing on your priorities, there are jobs that you will not even apply for because they are not forever going to give you access to that time that we are looking for, that time that has become very, very little. So if you are an accountant, we have accountants that do the daily accounting. And then we have accountants that come in to see how the books are moving. Then we have accountants that maybe... we have
auditors.
We have people who are consultants and all that. So to me, I want to put that first point, because your priorities are going to dictate for you. We cannot really, really dictate for you, because even your push factor may be a minor factor for another couple. Okay, so it is still you choosing that because of this status that I'm in, I must go and work. And then you're going to find another person who is like, I can stay at home, I can have my vegetables at home, I can have a few chicken at home, I can have a tank of water where I can sell some of the water, and they can be able to thrive at home as they are looking at these after these little children.
As we are preparing to go for the break, I want you to guide our viewers. We might be bending a lot on the ladies' side, but this gentleman as well. Should he also have the same kind of schedule as you seem to suggest, or what you're saying should largely apply to the lady gender?
All of us are accountable.
Yes.
In our marriages, we are accountable, especially when it comes to parenting. The mother is a primary when it comes to certain roles on the child's growth. But there are things that the mother will not do for the father.
Okay.
And they cannot be compensated because I'm working. Therefore, my role as a dad to my child is going to be played by my mother. Never. I
come in at 11 p.m. and leave at 6.
We started with this, that if you are failing to get time for your children, trust me on this, you are going to pay for that. These are cries that we are hearing these days, where fathers are claiming that mothers have taken children away from them. Fathers are claiming that they put a lot of money as the children are going to school and all that. And at the end of the day, when the children have grown up and even gotten those big jobs, they don't remember them. It is simply because you were never present. You never bonded, you never connected. So I don't want to bite this. The time that you have not put, you're not going to reap from it.
Okay.
Period. You will not reap from the time that you have not put. And it is painful. I say it when I also feel the pain. And it is sad. So there are decisions, very sour and hard decisions that we have to make as a couple to ensure that we have children that are going to be able to probably look back at us. Okay. So sometimes the job is going to permanently cut you off from your children.
So in other words, what you seem to suggest in this first point is the fact that somebody should have a clear plan on, first of all, they should have a clear definition of what type of job they want to do.
Exactly.
If they set parameters of this job, either should work 4 hours, and if such a job cannot give me at least 4 hours a day, then it means I cannot take it on.
And even though it is the one that you have, for example, if it is life and death, it is the only one that is there. We want you to work as you are, going out of this for a better option. So in other words, you should have a plan. Let me work here 2-3 years and then. Not even 3 years are probably long. You should be here because it is the only option that you have. But when you are praying and looking for a better option, and options are there, there are so many options out there. We are just limiting ourselves sometimes. People are employed, yet they would be better off when they are, self-employed. Okay, people are stuck at jobs and they tell themselves that I'll be leaving after 5 years. 5 years, they are still not yet stable. And then they are like, let me give it a 2 years. And then after the 2 years, they still cannot leave. So to me, it is still you sitting down with either yourself or with your spouse, and you're like, you know what? This is the only job that we have. But what can we do so that I'm here for only maybe a year as we are putting together or organizing something else, either a personal business or a home business, or shifting to a better option.
Don't you think the employers out there now saying this lady here wants to take away all our employees? They should go back home and look after.
No, most employers go home early. Why do they leave? You go to shops, go to hardwares, go to,
Of course, theirs was to create the jobs, and therefore it is the money to work for them now. They don't have to spend.
This is an option for everybody. Yeah. It's not closed. So you have an employee who is at a certain point will want to also have their own businesses. And I wish the business owners had that kind of system for them, whereby we don't have very old workers, workers that are stale, workers that can no longer perform. So you have a part of a time that you want someone to be here so that you have fresh, the other ones are going out so that we can be able to have families. Because the children that are going to come to maybe join this business later on will not be able to serve as their parents. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Dear viewer, this is the Alhidaayah show where we are looking at the matters social system of Islam, giving a guidance, trying to throw light on what perhaps we could do to reduce on the challenges we are having that are related to poor family and work time balance. Like she has said, balance, we can never have 50-50, but okay, good relationship between the family and the work that you're doing. Should you leave home for 12 hours because you have to fend for the family? All those are issues that we are trying to digest, and inshallah after the short break we'll be continuing with the discussion.
Eno ye Salam TV. Eno ye Salam TV.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
edutainment, DSTV's #1.
Is everybody ready to go?
We've got the zaniest characters to transport you away. The party is cracking, so why not come play? You're gonna love it. We've got so many channels and a ton of new shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, where anything goes. So live it up with DSTV. We bring the fun. You know we're #1.
Salaamu egabudde oli munna bizinesi oba olina ekitongole ekiwa obuweereza obw'enjawulo nga weetaaga kimanyike mu buli maka mu ggwanga lyonna. Salaamu TV ekuleetedde enteekateeka ya Salaamu egabudde. Guno gwe mukisa gw'ofunye by'otunda ne by'okola birangibwe ku TV yaffe eŋŋanzi wamu n'emikutu gyaffe emigatta abantu gyonna. Weegatte ku bukadde n'obukadde bw'abalabi baffe okwetooloola Uganda yonna, era bizinesi yo yeeyongera okumanyika nga bw'onyumirwa emiwendo egisaliddwako osobola okuganyulwa okwannamaddala mu kulanga kwo. Tosubwa omukisa ssemakisa guno ogukuweereddwa. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubireko leero ku 070 54 76 09 oba 0783 27 21 34. Salaamu egabudde ku Salaamu TV, olutimbe olw'emirembe. Eno ye Salaamu TV.
Naam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewer, I want to appreciate you again for always keeping it Salam TV. This is the Alhidaayah show that comes to you every Thursday 3 to 4 o'clock. My name is Muhammad Sekalala. We are looking at the social system of Islam. The topic today is we are trying to see how do we try to mitigate some of the causes that perhaps would force you to move out of the home as a lady or as a man, work longer than perhaps expected hours. The normal expected hours are 8 of work, that is 8 to 5, but you end up having to leave at 6 or 5 sometimes, come back at 11 p.m. And then we are saying, what time do you have for your family? Are there ways we can perhaps before, especially for the younger generation that is going to the insertion of marriage, are there better ways you can plan this family and work time schedule? If there are, it is what our guest is trying to help us appreciate. So Hajat, before we went for the break, you told us we have to be intentional in looking for the jobs. Be intentional what kind of job you want, be intentional on the goals, how many years, months you want to spend on this job. Bearing in mind that I have a family that I have to nurture, I have to support to also come to its feet. And you told that if you don't have that intentional kind of looking for that job, intentional, because actually I know people, for them, they go and say, my timetable, my schedule is from 8 to 1. I know it happens with these sheikhs. For them, when they are looking for, they call them gigs, you ask them, Sheikh, I need you at my school, and say, Sheikh, I have between 8 and 11. So it's up to you to fit him there, right?
But still the intention is not having more time at home.
So we want to appreciate this better. You've told us we have to be intentional. So that's one of the ways we could manage perhaps the poor family work-time balance. Kindly take us through the what other ways or what other push factors you can identify, and then how we could help resolve and manage them.
But we are trying to see, I think I would even call them excuses, because when we agree that we cannot compensate for the time that we lose when we are supposed to be at home. So at the end of it all these are excuses. But in relation to what we've been discussing, we say that we need to have clear goals and premarital guidance. If the two of us have clear goals of what we want, the kind of picture of a family we want to paint as the two of us, there are certain things that will not come as to be even discussed. But in case they are to be discussed, we still have agreement every other time. But if we do not come out clearly of what we want as a couple before we get married, we are going to have a lot of imbalances.
Okay.
You know, you never knew that you are marrying someone who is a workaholic. You never knew that you're marrying someone who, you know, doesn't want to even to discuss their job. You never knew that this one person's shifts can be shifted. For example, you are marrying someone thinking that they work during day, and then later on in the marriage, they're like the shifts have been turned into night shifts. And then we have people, I know of some people whose shifts just have never. I was like, but don't you have a timetable? And she was telling me that for us, they just put you anywhere, anytime. So it's like she worked at night, thinking that tomorrow it will be day.
Okay.
And then they send a message that she'll be working at night again. So for her, her work schedule is not clear.
It's not predictable.
Is not clear. So you cannot be able to build a marriage and family and a relationship with someone who doesn't have clear time.
Okay.
So we want to imagine that the two of you should have your goals, family goals, very, very clear.
So that should all happen in the premarital system.
That we need to have family time. We need to have this kind of, you know, I would appreciate that we are at home at a certain time, and when we have our goals very clear, the activity will be supporting the goal, which is why you cannot tell us that I want to ask for a job that is not going to assist
my family growth,
your family, your family values and goals. It is like we are going to be asking you, how come, where, what was your goal, why were you even going there? Okay, and we want
so maybe Hajat, before you continue, it means in the course of courtship, or they call dating of late, I should also look out for some jobs that I shouldn't risk getting married to or being married.
Definitely. Because at the end of the day, if you change the dreams of this person, if you kind of switch, we have really discussed this. You married a medical doctor, and then you kind of coerced her and kind of, you know, made her negatively choose not to work, to go and give medical service. You are forever going to have an unhappy wife.
Yes.
You're going to have a mother who is stressed, a mother who is not even a good mother, okay? Who is breastfeeding her children with sadness, with regret, with sorrow. She talks to her children about how men are bad, and she's like, she'll even be discouraging her children from learning. So look at me, I did medicine, look at me, look at what has happened to me.
I'm a housewife, sit-home mother.
I want people to know that staying at home is a job itself. And a mother who has chosen to be at home should be comfortable at home.
Okay.
It should be part of her choices. Otherwise, if we put women who don't want to be at home, we are not parenting, and we're not, you know, they're not even good wives.
So in other words, as we are talking about our goals for marriage, I need to be particular on the job that is my future spouse is.
Yes, to me, the job might not even be the problem. The problem is what your opinion and your partner's opinion is when it comes to family, when it comes to
work,
children, when it comes, because the job may not be a problem. We have people who have jobs that release them at 4, and someone stays in there and stays on her phone.
I even prefer to go out with colleagues and peers.
And then we have people who are like, any free time they can
I have
get,
to
they
rush
run back
home. Yes.
Any time they can be able to leave work earlier, they run back home. So it is something that I think is really inside your person, that if you really appreciate it, you have to dig for it and find it there.
Wow.
Otherwise, if it is not there, it is not the job that is a problem. It is not the money that we're looking for that is the problem. It is this person knowing that parenting, you know, looking after their home is their job, and it is there. We have people who work from Monday to Saturday, but on Sunday they are in every corner of their home. She's cleaning there, she's removing cobwebs, she's burning rubbish. Sunday, you know, she compensates
for all the time
that she's not there, and she's with the children. Come, we clean here, come, bring the hoe here, bring that, and you really do not miss this person. They are being not available. So I believe that it is supposed to be a goal for your partner.
The
it is supposed to be a priority.
Sessions.
Yes, a conversation that it must be a priority for your spouse to be. It should be some sport that we should be guided in, because in case there are those very tricky, you know, vocations that we have. I'm a doctor, I'm on call anytime I'm going to be called. Then we have to guide this couple on how they are going to be able to help each other.
I also know of a job that is very demanding, police work. Whether you're night to day, the moment the order comes, order, you have to.
But there are times they're very, very idle, and they're annoyingly idle. So you acknowledge that there is need for us to keep helping each other along the way. Because there are times when we are going to be very tight. And there are times when you have some breather. There are times when you even have freedom. There are times when you're on leave. But we have people who get leave and they still go to their workplaces.
By the way, remind me, there's an employer I know of. His policy is that every end of year he gets 3 staff that are supposed to go for sabbatical. And out of the country, his own pays for the air ticket with your family. Now this this employee and the Ugandan character, you know, we are sometimes, what he decided, he just got the money
and he eats it.
And ate it. So when the employer knew about it, he had to dismiss him and tell the guy, I gave you time to be with your family.
Now, do you feel the difference?
Yes.
For the employer, he believes that these workers need some time with their family. And then this worker, whose right is being fought for, does not even... So
to him it was, let me save this money. How can I go overseas?
It's even not common. It's even a special thing for someone to give you a paid leave. So, I believe these are personal choices. It is important for people to fall for people who can be able to, you know, go with them together as they are growing their homes, as they are growing their family, because we are going to keep getting challenges along the way. Yes. Now, the other thing that I think should be that we need to talk about is lack of support system.
On whose part is that?
For both of us. You imagine, for example, you have a husband who has some time. More than you, and then you probably are tighter at your job.
Okay, the lady. You're talking about the lady here, the wife now.
And then you come back at home, and then you find the cups dirty. You find everything the way.
This is the man. It's the man who is back home, right?
Yeah. So your husband is at home, and he's waiting for you to come back and do everything.
Okay.
That is one scenario, and then we have a scenario where 2 people go out together and they come back together.
Okay.
And then when they come back together, the husband is demanding for tea.
And supper, of course.
And he's demanding for food. And he's demanding for full and complete rights. For a husband who has a stay-at-home wife.
Yes.
And then we have places where people are suffering with the maids. Because at a certain point when work now, because when jobs come into our families, now maids become a need.
A need, yes.
I know of people who keep struggling with maids. You know, she has just got one and then the maid disappears. Some of them even disappear with their property and that. So the lack of support from your spouse, the lack of support from the help that you have hired really sometimes disturbs you, and you are unable to balance. At work you cannot perform, and even at home you're not even happy, because the support, you are not supported, because we are all vulnerable when it comes to this. It's like when you are very tired at home, at work you may not be able to perform. And then when you're overworked, at home you're going to be abusing and beating everyone. Yes. When you're tired and you're not resting, you're not going to be a good person for that job and even at home. So we need that support to be intact. We need to support each other. If we have chosen to be working people, we must support each other.
Actually, on that same point, one of the factors that really push the husband to work higher than the normal time, and then the ladies perhaps to leave the home, is where you find that the source of livelihood is really small. This husband of mine has a retail shop, but the return on capital normally is between 500,000 to $1 million a month. Then we have 5 kids.
So you are going to leave the husband on the village and then you go and work in MTN?
Of course. Or you go and do office cleaning work.
Those are
where they expect me to be there. Whatever gets that, I have to clean the offices of the different entities. Don't you think that is a genuine reason why I should leave home, and as a husband I should work
Muhammad,
harder?
every reason one has is going to be a true one and a genuine one. But one of the things that we have found, if a woman is, for example, leaving and for work, and then the husband has more time or is staying at home, we have a number of things that we have found, because the idle mind is the devil's workshop. This is when we have found men impregnating maids. This is when we have found men becoming drunkard, because it is a status that a man wouldn't, you wouldn't want a male to be in, where the wife is kind of now earning more than him. It really doesn't do the man so much. It just kills their esteem. It affects them very much. But we want to encourage couples to keep talking about these things, to keep discussing on how best we can be able to move together, and what can we do to improve this shop, so that it can be able to also, increase its, the returns, so that we do not forever have a man who is like, I'm the unlucky one.
Yes,
so we because there are things that are natural and we shall not run away from. So we hope that at a certain point the shop can be helped, so that it can also, grow as the man is also growing.
So
and
you want to say the ladies going out is not giving support to the man in terms of reducing on the burden of obligations at home?
You know we shall be helping even when we are at home, but I hope the help does not become the breadwinner. Because at a certain point we have come to places where the woman is now the breadwinner of the home, and now this is not a family. It's a family of people who are just there together, but they are not comfortable, they are not happy, they are not natural. So we hope that you woman who is going out, you can be able to control yourself. You can be able to come back a little earlier. You can be able to preserve yourself with your femininity, so that your salary that is probably a bit high, your position at work that is high, does not change your attitude towards your husband, because at a certain point, naturally when a woman starts to earn money, naturally when a woman is holding a high position in the community, they usually are unable to be submissive to their husbands. It's some, and that there are very few women that we can look up to who have been able to hold and be the feminine, the wife and the supportive mother, while they are running those big offices, while they're holding those positions and earning that much money. Most women have really failed that test. So we want you to be very genuine when you are going out. If you're going out to get some, many have even left the country and they've gone to
of course, there are ladies who are now doing import and export business.
Leave that. That one is coming back, but we have people who have gone to the Arab countries for
this domestic
the broom, to beat the broom. So we have seen this, and many of them claim that they were not getting enough support.
There wasn't enough money to support me and the kids.
The man had failed, and the reasons are there. They are genuine, they are true. But the truth is, many people call me when they have left their children, and someone is calling you that, Hajat, please help me and go and talk to my children. But how am I going to do this? And how often am I going to do this? And how can I connect to your children like you would as a mother? So the truth is, whatever we choose to do, we need to take closer looks at the repercussions. All right? So when you go out as a wife, okay, regulate yourself. Know that you are still the mother, know that you're still the wife, know that there are certain things that you are responsible for as a woman.
As a woman.
Okay? Otherwise, these are the stories that we get and the cries that we have today, that I left home and then the housemaid took over my home.
My home.
Yeah.
Okay, Hajat, as we are winding up, there's something, perhaps this one should be a lighter one. I have grown-up kids. They are, all of them are at secondary school. And we have told with our husbands, the kids have grown up. Why wouldn't I really go also out there and get my own money and enjoy it as a woman?
Yeah,
Or
you will need
as
money.
a man, why don't I also have extended time? Because now most of the kids are grown up, and that touch you're saying is supposed to be for the infants, for the juveniles, those 5 to either 14, 15-year-olds, but these are 17, 18, 20-year-olds.
One thing is for sure,
they can look after themselves.
Yes, they probably can.
Yes.
Of course, they can cook their meals.
They can
do the chores
even
very
organize
well.
their
But they continue
siblings.
to need our guidance. Our children continue to need our guidance.
Even at university?
Even when they are married.
Wow.
Actually, our dean is like, it's until when they are 40 years of age. And if they've not yet given birth, a child is a child up to 40.
Allah.
Especially you males. And if you've not given birth, you're still your parents' child.
So the ladies is what age? 23?
For us, I think we grow up when we are given our way to our husbands, because the control is shifted to our husbands. But
so the lady can even be grown up at 18, the moment
even
she gets
15.
married. Even 15.
The control, the guidance is supposed to come from the husband.
So that nights the husband over with the control over now the lady.
Yeah, period. You am practically given to my husband.
Oh, wow.
My dad can no longer tell me anything now. That don't do this or that. It's my husband who now is in control. I can't have two masters. It's not possible. So we want to look at time, because people believe that this time, home, work, family time is about children. It's not about children 100%, because there are people who don't have children.
Okay.
So what does that mean? They stay at work forever. We want to imagine that, or we want to be taught that families need time together, intentional time together, quality time. We have to plan the time that we can be together, to make discussions, to just even enjoy each other without interruptions. So if the children have grown like you've asked, and now I'm in between. I have teenagers. Actually, I have now. I have 2 adults now, because my second born made 18 yes. 18 this 15th. So I have 2 adults at home, and then I have teenagers in between, and then I have the young ones that need care.
Okay.
One thing is for sure: when I leave home, most of everything shall be done. But there are things that they will not tell themselves. For example, sit properly. When the firstborn tells the one in P3 sit properly, she might not take it. It's her sister who is saying, and she might not really take it as something that is sit properly, don't shout. They are that parental and nurturing that our children continue to need from us. So when they grow up, it's like you kind of just lessen the over guidance, the being on their heads or at the back, just being at them at their time all the time, and telling them to do everything, giving them some time to do things on their own and that. But parenting continues. And the special time is needed, and breaks are needed. Rest is important. You need to give yourself some time, even before you think about your children and your husbands. So the time you are at home and the time that you are at work continues to need to be balanced, even when you are not married. Okay, because if you overwork yourself, there are things that you're going to find. And again, if you stay at home for longer hours when you're supposed to be at work, probably they're going to sack you. Okay. So when our children have grown, we probably now can do more. We can do more, but we don't forget that we are still needed.
We are still needed. Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. I want to request our person in the control room to show us some smaller imagery that we can show to our viewers that indicates what you should be doing at what age of your kids. Perhaps, as Sajat was saying, there are ages where the parent has to be there.
Total attention.
Total attention. Then there are moments where you're supposed, where now the older children can maybe guide their colleagues, but doesn't take away the parents.
You are still in control. You're the one who guides. You're the master of the home. You're going to find your children in your bed, you know, because they are adults like you.
Good. Okay, inshallah, I think with that we can now say that the people who are preparing for marriage, you have got a picture of what you should expect. The key thing to do is, one, you should know that parenting is a full-time job. So if you think you can have 15 hours at the workplace and 5, which include sleep at home, then it means you might have trouble having your family getting nurtured. Secondly, what priorities do you have? Are you intentional on the kind of work you want to do? Are you intentional in demanding for the time you spend at work? Are you intentional in having a clear schedule of what time you should be at home? And
maybe as an addition, when we are looking for the job, we need to negotiate with our employers, so that they know the kind of person they are employing
already.
And
actually, normally in the interviews they ask you.
Yes, they do.
Yes, and then some of us, we want to be so good and say, no, I can work at any time under minimum supervision. Under pressure.
What? You work under pressure.
So somebody can, because they are looking for this job, they can even say all sorts of nice things, but the human being in them is saying them that, you know what, I have a family at home. Instead of saying, you know what, I have a family as well. I think if the organization has a policy of where people with families are supported, perhaps they work.
Some have baby care.
I would find this is the best place to work in, and you're genuine in the interview when you're being interviewed. I think it will be a good thing. Then we have also noted that we need to go for premarital sessions, perhaps to guide us as we are going into this marriage. The counselors, the people who have experience will tell you that, you know what, family and work have these two competing demands. So you need to be very particular on what time you're going to give the family and the job. And then perhaps lastly is the fact that we need to have a clear support system where the husband and the wife should work as a team to see that their family is nurtured in the best way possible. We want to thank our guest for his making time to come and share with us. We want also to appreciate those that are watching us from wherever you are, those in the diaspora, those in Uganda, and those in the north, in the east, everyone. We want to appreciate you for always watching Salam TV. And remember, if you've missed out on some parts, you can go to the Salam YouTube page, type Salam, Alhidaayah, and then you'll be getting the information as was given at the start. Otherwise, I want to call it ends at this. We want to wish you a fruitful end to the week and a nice weekend. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, Salam